Hey guys, this is Red and Blue, your channel on YouTube for all things PSG in English. Please subscribe. Today, we've got our game against Lorient in Lorient later on this evening/afternoon, 7 p.m. French time. So I don't know, like whatever you want to call it. And the news for this game is that all of our injured players are essentially back. The only one that's still missing is Fabian Ruiz, and that's only because he's training with the squad. He's back in training, but they just want him to reach his peak physical fitness before putting him back. Joao Neves is back in the squad for this game, and so he might be getting some minutes. Doué, Dembélé, they've been back for a few games now, and are actually like in discussions to start the game. Marquinhos as well. So good news in terms of our injured. But the question that I wanted to ask is that in this context, what's next for all of the Titis that we've seen this season, who have been getting some serious game time, who have impressed in a lot of cases? So what opportunities do they have moving forward? What can we expect to see of them? And, like, what are the little hints that Luis Enrique has dropped in terms of what they can expect to get this season? So I'll go one by one, starting with, I think, the one who impressed the most overall when you're talking to the fans, Quentin and Ndjantou. I think more than anything, like his attitude has really, really impressed all of the fans. Every time that he came on the pitch, and he had like quite a few opportunities, his attitude of really trying to make an impact, really trying to do his best and work hard, it's really, really shown through. And so, it puts him in good stead to stay with the professional squad. He started the season with a U19. He had a really like strong start of the season, scored a hat-trick in the first youth league game against Atalanta, and then came on with the pro squad, played a few games, played in Barcelona, had a start, I think, against Lille, and he's been getting minutes in basically every game. Even in Leverkusen, he came on the pitch. And so I think what's interesting as well is that typically with the U19, he would play as a sort of false nine, when with Luis Enrique, he's playing more as a central midfielder. So the last games that we played against Brest, I thought it was quite interesting because when he comes on the pitch, he actually comes on the pitch as a left winger, which is kind of a new space for him. And for me, I see it as a great sign from Luis Enrique that he's trying him in different positions. We know he loves to do that with the youngster. He's getting them to play in different roles and different places on the pitch, so they get a full sense of how the team works and who's doing what and so on. We've seen it a lot with Warren Zaire-Emery, for example. Mayulu, God knows, like he's played basically every position apart from keeper at this point, and so really good sign for Ndjantou if he keeps getting minutes like this. I think tonight's game is actually going to be very interesting because now that Joao Neves is coming back, it's going to be interesting to see like if Ndjantou keeps featuring, or if he starts dropping off of the game, and like if he not even start or substitute. It's going to give us a very, very clear hint in terms of where Luis Enrique see him fit in the rotation. Personally, like I expect he's going to keep training with the pros. I think that one is pretty much for sure. And I think, probably going to keep getting a few minutes here and there. I would say maybe less than what he's been getting. Maybe he drops back down for youth league games to play those with the U19s. But, weaker Ligue 1 opponents or French Cup games, I really hope that he still gets some minutes in that context and keep, getting time with the pros. Second one, Boly and Jangeal, who came on with the pro squad at the same time as Ndjantou, didn't impress as much, if I'm honest. He's still, as far as I know, like he's still part of the contention, but I think he went back to the U19 team. For the youth league game against Leverkusen, he was part of the U19 team. He started that game and played for, I think, most of it. I think he got subbed off, if I remember correctly. And yeah, like the impression that we got from his time with the pro is that he maybe wasn't as ready as Ndjantou. Maybe like the spotlight was a bit bright for him, and he didn't really show all of the skill sets that he has. So for now, I would expect he's going to be playing with the U19, probably like coming up to train with the pros on a semi-regular basis and going up and down, which is pretty normal for academy players. But I don't think we're going to see him feature in the first squad as much as what we've seen. I think, he probably gets the next 6 months with the U19, and maybe he'll be back with the squad for a few games towards the end of the season to see how he develops. But for now, I think it's a name that we are like not likely to see with the pros just yet. Next one. This one is very interesting because Ibrahim Mbaye, he really started the season as that one TT who was getting the most attention and the most time with the pros. He's been getting a lot of playing time. He actually started the game against Barcelona, which is amazing for an 18-year-old player. And I think, candidly speaking, his performance, I think, have been so-and-so. I'm a bit frustrated, if I'm honest, because I do see like the talent that he has, but I think like there's two things. One, his skill sets rely a lot on him being dominant physically, and I think he's not being dominant physically when he's playing against pro player, even in Ligue 1 level, and so that really like kind of balances out his attributes a little bit. And the second one is that Luis Enrique keeps playing him on the right, and I think every time he's played on the left, he's actually been a lot better. And so I'd love for him to have more opportunities. But at the same time, on the left, you've got Kamara, you've got Barcola, you've got Doué who can play there. Now you've got Ndjantou last time. So really hard one for him. So he might keep playing on the right for now. And I think there was a tidbit of news that came out like yesterday that apparently is in the process of changing his agent and he's signing on with the Mbappe structure and the Mbappe family to represent him. And, in PSG world, I kind of take that as a clear sign for I'm looking for a way out and I'm not going to stick around for this long. Obviously, the relationship with the Mbappe family is pretty sour for us. So it doesn't feel like, the agent that you sign with if you want to stay in PSG for the next 10 years, It feels like the agent you sign off with, if you want to piece off PSG a little bit, see if you can get stuff off of them, and if not, just like move somewhere else, because every club in the world is desperate to have a good relationship with Mbappe anyway. So yeah, I hope I've seen a few people comment on this, and like, I hope it's not a sign of him starting to think too much of himself or too highly of himself. I think what we've seen of him on the pitch has been okay. Some of it good, some of it really average, if I'm honest. He still has, I think he's got the potential to like for a pro career for sure. Maybe like not at the top level, but I could see him in the long run settling him like into a second tier European team, and like becoming a starter in a team like Dortmund or Tottenham, or like not quite like the Man City's, PSG, Bayern Munich's of the world, but just under it and regular time in Europe. But he's got a lot of work ahead of him. He does need to develop, he does need to regain his physical advantage, and he does need to develop in terms of the differences that he makes on the pitch and the confidence and the mentality that he brings. So we'll see. We'll see if that happens in PSG or not. I think for now, like, he's going to be part of our squad. I think on the right, we're a little bit light when it comes to our depth for the right attacker position. So I do expect he's going to stay with the squad and probably get minutes here and there, like subbing on, doing the last 15, 20 minutes of games. Covering for Doué, covering for Kvara or Barcola or whoever like rotates there. And we'll see in winter if we bring on someone or like if he wants to leave at that point. It's not out of the question. Next one. This one is really interesting. David Boly. We haven't seen him yet. He's been one of the names that are really talked about very, very, very often. 16-year-old right fullback. And I put in a survey on my YouTube page and on my Twitter. So go follow on Twitter if you haven't. To ask if people thought this Lorient game was the chance for him to be seen. Luis Enrique has talked about him a few times and said a few times that he wants to see him and see what he can do. And it feels like with Hakimi out, voluntarily like being given a holiday, Warren Zaire-Emery really like nailing down the midfield position again. It might be a chance for him to really like maybe start, maybe get some minutes subbing on and showing what he can do. He's still extremely young, but he's also like maybe the biggest academy talent in terms of raw talent that we have at the moment. And so it's going to be very interesting to see if he comes on the pitch against Lorient, what he does, what we see of him. But he's the one that we've seen the less. And at the same time, he's got such a big opportunity ahead of him because Hakimi doesn't really have a substitute. The players that we play instead of Hakimi, typically Warren Zaire-Emery or Mayulu, they're better in other places. And so, yeah, like maybe it's his chance to shine, and we'll see. It's very hard to say like what is going to happen to him without him having started games with the first team. But what's for sure is he does have the opportunity in front of him, and he's got to grab it and do the best of it. So we'll see in this Lorient game. I really hope he starts because it feels like the table is just set perfectly for him. It's a relatively weak opponent. Hakimi isn't there. Warren Zaire-Emery is going to be needed in midfield. Mayulu in other places. So yeah, like it's David Boly time. Like, man, come on the pitch, show us what you can do, and hopefully like get more and more minutes as the year goes on. And finally, the last one I had for you, like one we haven't seen this season yet either, Noam Kamara, who's our central defender, 18-year-old. He played in a couple of games last season. I know he played against Montpellier at the end of the season, I think against Auxerre as well, if I remember correctly. He's right-footed central defender. So typically he would play like the right side of our central defense, the Marquinhos Zabarni spot. He went off to the U20 World Cup recently and just came back after finishing fourth. We got knocked off in the semi-finals by Morocco. And he was a nail-on starter for the French U20 team. He played basically all the games all the way to the semi-finals and really like impressed, yeah, decently impressed in terms of his level of performance. And so we know he's a player that in Luis Enrique's mind, he's part of the first team, first squad. So he's going to feature. The question mark is going to be, now that we've got Zabarni, who needs to be integrated within this team, who needs to get some minutes. We've got Beraldo, who's been quietly grumbling about not getting enough playing time and wanting more and more and more. We've got Pacho and Marquinhos, who are obviously shining. One of them is has been talked about as the top defender in Europe for last season in Pacho, who did amazing throughout last season. Maybe he's a bit softer beginning of this season, but he's a top defender. And then Marquinhos, who's our captain. That doesn't leave a lot of space for Noam Kamara, if I'm honest. I really hope that he managed to squeeze us in some minutes here and there, weaker Ligue 1 opponent, cup games, and so on and so forth. Maybe against Lorient, who knows, it could be a chance for him. I don't really think so because I think Marquinhos needs some playing time to get sharper ahead of Bayern Munich next week. So I anticipate Marquinhos is going to be playing this one and probably a big chunk of the Nice game as well. But yeah, we'll see. I do hope he gets more and more minutes throughout the year. But he's got a competitive set ahead of him, which is harder than a lot of those other TT. David Boly on the right, apart from Hakimi, is really he's got his opportunity. Ndjantou in midfield, there's competition for sure, but he also has a space to carve for himself. Even Mbaye on the right side of the attack, he's got space. So we'll see how it goes for Noam Kamara. I hope he gets minutes. Otherwise, like, he could be a player that we look at loaning off in December and maybe sending him off somewhere for 6 months so he gets a bit more regular playing time. We'll have to see how the season evolves. But he's a defender with some skill, so I hope we see him in the squad at some point and he gets minutes throughout. So anyway, a lot of rising Titis in PSG, which is super exciting. And I really hope, like, you know, all of those players get more and more chance to shine. I hope they also take the opportunity because Luis Enrique is giving them a lot of time and a lot of opportunities to shine and a lot of potential to develop, and they do need to do their part. I think a player like Ndjantou, like, his attitude really screams someone who's excited to progress and who wants to do the best, and all of them should adopt that same attitude of really, like, trying to contribute as much as they can, trying hard in training, and working hard day in, day out to make their space in this squad. And so we'll see how that pays off. I think Lorient in general, like, his game tonight is going to give us a great clue of where all of those players stand. Like I said, we've got a lot of players returning, but we also have a tough game against Nice in 2 days. And then, like, we have Bayern Munich next week as well. So there will be space for rotations. There will be space for those players. And so we'll need to see who Luis Enrique actually counts on and actually ranks. So anyways, this is what I had for you on our rising TTs. Let me know what you think in the comments, which is the ones that, you know, you think are going to stay with the first squad, who are set to keep playing throughout this season, who are the ones who are impressing you and exciting you. And, you know, as always, please like this video if you've made it this far. Please subscribe to the channel if you haven't yet. We're growing every day. We're growing a little bit, which is super exciting. I really appreciate it. And don't forget, with the TTs, ici c'est pareil!